Hey, how's it going, guys? Mr. Boss for the win here, and in today's GTA video, we're going to be talking about how Grand Theft Auto 4 was changed in this particular country. Now, this is not new for the GTA series, considering it's one of the most controversial video games, and also considering because each country has their own laws, rules, and regulations on how video games, media, and movie are presented to the public. Like, for example, something in the United States might be completely different from something in Germany, and there might be different rules in, let's say, a country like Japan that also makes something totally different, even though you might be playing the same game. And so, because of that, it's up to Rockstar to follow the rules and regulations of each country to make sure it fits within the certain guidelines. And in today's video, we're actually going to be talking about Grand Theft Auto 4. In a previous video, we've talked about how GTA 5 was changed in about 6 or 7 or 8 different ways, depending on which country you were in. And so today we're going to be looking at Grand Theft Auto 4, because last week I saw this article on Screen Rant. It was titled, How GTA 4 Was Censored for Australia. That's right, we're going to be talking about Australia today. It says Grand Theft Auto 4's Australian version was altered by Rockstar to fit the country's rating system. Here's everything changed for the Aussie version. So first and foremost, you guys can let me know in the comments down below, do you either A, live in Australia? Do you know someone who B, lives there, who actually played GTA 4? Be sure to let me know in those comments down below. But the article goes on to say, the Australian Classification Board is notorious for its restrictions on mature content in video games. So it was inevitable that Rockstar's Grand Theft Auto 4 would be toned down as it approached its 2008 release in the country. Now, Australian rating classifications have historically put video games under more scrutiny than most other countries. In fact, at one point in time, games like Fallout 3 and Left 4 Dead 2 were completely banned. Like, you couldn't even play those games in Australia. However, in 2013, the Australian government introduced a new R18 plus rating that allowed for a wider range of titles to release uncensored. Now, the reason that's important because the previous highest rating was MA 15 plus. So before this new rating, any game deemed not suitable for 15-year-olds could be rated R and then banned outright. So obviously Rockstar didn't want that to happen. They wanted people to get their hands on Grand Theft Auto 4, or as many people have their hands on GTA 4, even in Australia. So what Rockstar actually had to do in Australia was change a few key ways before it actually released. And we're going to be diving into those in this video today. So there was two main things that Rockstar had to change in order to get Grand Theft Auto 4 for approval in Australian audiences. The first was the amount of blood in the game, and the next was our main characters, whether that be Nico, Luis Lopez, or Johnny Klebitz, interacting with the ladies of the night and other girlfriends that you could have in the game, if you catch my drift there. So this was actually cataloged by the website moviecensorship.com, which I'll leave a link to in the description. The first thing that Rockstar ended up targeting was blood effects. So the first thing that was affected here was blood effects, as we just talked about. And the first part of that was pools of blood. So in GTA 4, if you ended up, killing someone or running them over, their body would lie on the ground and then like a pool of blood would come out, just like you see in GTA 5. So in the censored Australian version, that pool of blood would not happen. You would see like the blood splatter if you shot someone, but you wouldn't end up see any pooling up on the ground. So that's the first thing. The next thing is there was removed blood textures. So when you shoot someone, like their clothes would turn red and bloody. So in the normal version, that's what you would see. But in the censored Australian version, you wouldn't see anything like that. Their clothes would remain normal as if they were totally unharmed. And the third thing that Rockstar had to change if they wanted Grand Theft Auto 4 to not be banned in Australia was they had to remove bloody tire tracks. So normally, if you run over a dead body, their blood would sort of catch onto the tires and create this little like streak down the road. Well, you actually don't see that in the version that was in Australia. Like if you run over a body, it would just be like nothing even happened at all. There wouldn't be the effects of the blood that catches on to the tires. So those were the three main things that happened. And those were all like pretty big things in GTA 4 that made the game feel a lot more realistic. So it's unfortunate that that was something they took away because almost any blood effect was then missing just from the game altogether, which, again, for me, at least in my opinion, sort of took away from the realism a little bit. Now, the next big thing that Rockstar had to change was Nico, Johnny Klebitz, and Luis Lopez interacting with either his girlfriends or ladies of the night. Now, I'm sure you guys can kind of read between the lines here, but the two big things that were changed in the Australian version essentially made Nico having fun with his choice of girl a little bit less exciting, because he could not pick the service that he wanted, nor could the camera be circled around the car while Nico, Johnny, or Luis was having fun. So what would happen is in the Australian version, the one that was censored, you would just see the view from the back, which wouldn't particularly show anything. You could really just only hear what was happening. So I guess that's the difference in the version between going from 18 plus to 15 plus, is you can't choose what you want, and you also have to look at it from one angle. I guess that's the way Rockstar was able to get this version of the game into Australia. Now, there was also a little bit of controversy with this because, strangely enough, these changes were reverted shortly after Grand Theft Auto 4's April 2008 console launch. So Rockstar released an uncensored PC version in Australia in December 2008, and according to a 2009 Kotaku report, the Xbox 360 version of GTA 4 The Lost and the Damned launched an uncensored version in February 2009. Which came to PC and PlayStation 3 in April 2010. However, it still had all the same MA15 plus ratings as the original censored console release. So obviously that's not good. At least it's not good in the eyes of the Australian government, because, you know, the game would not be appropriate for people that were 15, 16, or 17 at the time. And according to Rockstar, what happened in The Lost and the Damned was they accidentally censored the European versions of the game instead of the Australian versions. They said the censorship information between the European and Australian versions of the game was traded by mistake. Now, this was later fixed in a previous update, but for a short period of time, those in Australia who had never got to experience the Ladies of the Night in its full capacity and all the blood effects were able to quickly do so for a very short version of time after The Lost and the Damned ended up releasing. But that is how Rockstar ended up making some big changes to GTA 4 in this particular country. In this case, it was Australia. Once again, I would love to hear from you guys in the comments down below if you either A, live in Australia, or B, know anyone in Australia and they were playing GTA 4. Did they notice any of these changes, and did it have an effect on their gameplay experience? Let me know what you guys are thinking in those comments down below. I would love to hear from you guys down there. If you guys did go on to enjoy this video, though, a like rating would, of course, be awesome. And be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel if you are new, or you want to stay up to date on all the latest GTA and Red Dead Redemption videos that I'm doing here on my channel. And be sure to ring that notification bell as well. Sometimes YouTube just doesn't work, and if you ring that bell, you'll always be guaranteed to be notified when new videos arrive. But, of course, as always, guys, thank you all so much for watching. Take care, and I'll see you guys in the next video.